Are you a creature of habit? If you're not and you want to be successful in sales, you better be. I'll explain what I mean on this episode of the Do This, Sell More show. Hi, my name is Dave Lorenzo, and welcome to another edition of the Do This, Sell More show. We're here every day at 9 a.m. on the podcast, every day at 5 p.m. on YouTube, and 24/7 on the C-Suite Network. Thanks for joining me. It is wonderful to have you here with us and to have you as a member of our community. Today we're talking about the 5 habits of the most successful salespeople. These are things you can do right now to catapult your success to the next level. Habit number 1 is doing the same things at the same time every day. A few months back, I interviewed a gentleman by the name of Cody Reed. Cody is the sales manager of one of the largest car dealerships in the United States. And I said to him, Cody, what do you do to help your salespeople when they fall into a slump? His answer shocked me. He said, my salespeople never get in a slump. And I was aghast. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, we don't get into a slump because they do the same things at the same time every day. We have a formula that's successful for our salespeople, and we have them follow that formula day in and day out. He said if they do the same things at the same time every day, they may not make a sale one day, but the next day they may make 3 or 4 sales. So you have a routine that makes you successful. You need to follow that routine to the letter every day. I do this in my life, and I started doing this when I began working out of a home office. For 6 years, while I worked at Gallup, I worked part-time out of my house, part-time out of an office, and, a third of the time, I guess, I was traveling. These days, I work 1/3 of my time on the road, 1/3 of my time in my home office, and I do the same things at the same time every day so that I make sure I never miss anything. It's like taking medicine or exercising or meditating or brushing your teeth. You do it at the same time every day so you don't forget and because it is successful for you. Create success habits and do the same thing at the same time every day, and you never have to worry about going into a slump. You just have to follow your routine and success will find you. Success habit number 2 of the 5 habits of the highly successful, the most successful salespeople. Success habit number 2 is go big or go home. You got to be out on the ocean looking for whales. You cannot go after small accounts. If you go after small accounts and you fail, you fail. If you go after big accounts and you put yourself in an environment to land a really big account and you're not successful, you'll probably stumble upon a small account, and guess what? You wind up with 2 or 3 small accounts, and the next thing you know, you've got a really good month going for yourself. Putting yourself in an environment to land big accounts puts you in the mindset of being a player at that level. You will never be shocked when the CEO of a Fortune 500 company says yes to you. You will be that person, and you will have the confidence to go out and get those accounts time and time again. That's what sales is all about. Sales is a confidence game. It's all about your confidence. If you feel like you can sell to the really big companies in your industry, then landing a small deal like that will never shock you. Landing a big deal will never shock you. I want you spending 65-70% of your time going after the whales in your industry, and then the 30% of your time, I can get a $200,000, $300,000 account like that because I landed a $20 million account last year. That's the way you need to think. That's the way you need to feel. Go after the big accounts, because when you land a big account, you'll be on top of the world. Your confidence will be so high. Landing several small accounts will seem like nothing for you. You are the big game hunter. That's your mindset. That's your focus. And that's habit number 2. Habit number 3 of the 5 habits of the most successful salespeople is you gotta ignore the critics. Don't pay any attention to unsolicited advice. Look, if you're putting yourself out there and you're delivering speeches, or you're putting yourself out there writing articles, or you're putting yourself out there doing videos and podcasts like I do, people are gonna take shots at you. Who cares? If you're winning, if you're getting deals, if you're making things happen, you can't even give 2 cents for any unsolicited advice. That is useless. It's only benefiting the person giving the advice, not you who's supposed to be quote unquote receiving it. If you didn't ask for somebody's advice, just ignore it. Or better yet, tell them to shut up because you didn't ask them for their advice. Do what you want to do. Solicit advice from, number one, people who give you money, your clients, your bosses. Those are the people you should get advice from. Number two, the second group of people you should get advice from are people who've done what you are trying to do. If you have a mentor, you got to get advice from your mentor. That's fine. Number three, the third person you should get advice from is somebody you use as a sounding board. In my case, it's my wife. I show her things before I send them out. We put stuff together and we look at it from a marketing perspective and determine if it fits with our brand. She's my sounding board. I've asked her for advice. I trust her. If you have a mentor, ask them for advice. Trust them. If you have a boss, they give you advice. You got to take that to heart. And especially your clients, when they give you advice, you got to listen to them because they're going to tell you how to make more money. Other than those people, any unsolicited advice you get rid of it. It's useless. Habit number 4, and I mentioned it already, seek constructive feedback. You have to have a mentor. And it can be somebody within your company or somebody outside of your company. If you're an entrepreneur, you should belong to a mastermind group like Entrepreneurs Organization or one of my groups. You need to connect with people who are more successful than you so that you can, number one, aspire to be like them. Number two, get really good advice from people who have already done what you're trying to do. And number three, so that you don't go insane, so that you have somebody you can bounce ideas off of. Look for a mentor, look for a mastermind group, look for a group of people who can give you advice because they've already done what you're trying to do. Seek them out. Listen to them. Those are the folks you need to pay attention to. So that's number 4, find a mentor. Number 5, put relationships first. Never lose a relationship to win a deal. Don't ever do that. Never lose a relationship to win a deal. Put relationships first. Relationships will last longer than money, so your relationships always have to come first. I'm going to give you 3 categories of relationships that you should never mess with. Number 1 is family. Don't miss your kid's soccer game to make a deal. Don't miss a special occasion in your family life to make a big deal. Why? Because those are the things you will remember. The special occasions in your life are the things that are the fabric of life. Those deals, if you're good at sales, you can make another deal like that. But you can't ever repair a broken relationship with a family member, or you can't ever bring back a one-of-a-kind event. So family comes first. Never, ever miss a family event for a deal. Number 2, your friends, the people who are with you through thick and thin, the people who've been loyal to you for all the years, they come before anything you're going to do in your business life. Why? You can make another deal, but it's really hard to make other friends as you get older. Number 3, the client relationships you have, you need to guard them with your life. Do what you can to make sure you're always protecting your client relationships. You're bending over backwards. Always make your clients look good, never make them look bad. If the client asks for an accommodation and it's reasonable, do what you can. Here's the thing. There are going to be times when clients need something to advance their career and they're going to come to you and ask for a price break, or they're going to come to you and say they need to get their pound of flesh from you to make themselves look good with their boss. That's an opportunity for you. So always make that accommodation. The client relationship is going to be there for the long term. And if a client burns you, then they're not a good client, and don't give them an accommodation a second time. But if somebody spent $50 or $100 million with you over 10 years and they ask you for something for free, you give it to them. Why? Because you want to make sure you're doing everything you can to advance the relationship. If somebody's made you $100,000 in commission over the course of a couple of years and you have to cut your commission to make the next deal, do it. Here's the reason why. Relationships come first. You want that relationship to be with you for the long term. Client relationships are the most valuable thing you have in business. Always do what you can to accommodate a client. Now, I'm not saying give away stuff for free. You have to have integrity in your pricing, and you can't violate any company guidelines, obviously. Do what you can to make the customer feel like he's valuable. Do what you can to make him feel like he's important. Do what you can to make him feel like he's special. Every customer needs to feel like they're your only customer. Every client needs to feel like you will go out of your way for them, and you need to protect the relationship first, because relationships, if they come first, will put money in your pocket for a long, long time. These are the 5 habits of the most successful salespeople. I want you to send me your thoughts and your questions. Make a video, shoot it on your phone, give me a question that I can answer here on the show, and I will use your video or your audio on the podcast or on one of our video shows. Shoot your video on the phone, send it to me at askdave@dlorenzo.com. That's ASKDAVE, the @ symbol, DLorenzo, DLORENZO.com. Send me your video questions, and I'll use the video and audio on the podcast and the video show right here. Thanks for joining me today, and at the sound of the tone, make sure you do this and sell more.